problem. I would like to introduce
Bigfootspad Paranormal Investigations Team.
Welcome to another edition of Bigfoots Pad Paranormal Radio. On the phone with me is my co-host.
Brent.
And we're waiting for one more, maybe two more people to join us on the line. And would you like to explain a little bit about what tonight's show is about, Brent?
Well, tonight's show is going to be about just open lines. We'll have some open lines later on in the show, and then in the beginning of the show, we're probably going to, go over our past per tour that actually just came on not too long ago. So here's some stuff about that, and probably share some articles here.
Yeah, well, for tonight's first article, I'd like to talk about something really weird that I found recently. People are experimenting with brain-reading devices that are going to replace computer keyboards in the future, they're saying. The article is from yesterday. It says the QWERTY keyboard has dominated computer typing for more than 40 years. But a new breakthrough that translates human thought into digital text may spell out the beginning of the end for the manual word processing. A first step towards such brain reading has come from using brain scans to identify certain thoughts with certain words. The fMRI brain scans showed certain patterns of human brain activity sparked by thinking about physical objects, such as a horse or a house. Researchers also used brain scans to identify brain activity shared by words related to certain topics. Thinking about eye or foot showed patterns similar to those other words related to body parts. The basic idea is whatever subject is on someone's mind, not just topics or concepts, but also emotions, is ultimately reflected in the pattern of activity across all areas of his or her brain, said a psychologist at Princeton University. And they're already using some... What's different?
Oh, go ahead. I didn't know there was
I was going to say, it says that they already have some brain-reading devices being used right now for blind and deaf people to do things on the computer, it says.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of like is it like a chip that does that, and they just read, like they have a computer that reads the chip or something, or is it like a neural interface? Do you know?
Well, it didn't really show any pictures of what the device looks like, but I know that they showed a picture of the ones that we're already using, and it's sort of like almost looks like one of those like heads. I don't know if you call it almost like what a fast food person would wear at a window, like when it's something that goes around the back of their head.
Oh, so like a visor?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
okay.
then Stephanie just called in. You on, Steph? Steph?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was just making sure you're there. But
Yeah, I'm
anyway, what I was thinking was, it says that it could read your emotions and your thought patterns. I don't know. I don't really want a computer reading my brain while I'm on the internet. I don't know about you.
Yeah, that's a little too personal.
I know, instead of read your thoughts, that means if you were mad at somebody or if you had to pay your water bill or something, how would the computer tell the difference between that and something that you actually want to do on the computer?
Yeah, that's true. Like if you're thinking of something else.
Because for instance, if you're on Blog Talk Radio and you're thinking about paying what you have to do tomorrow, for instance, it's going to start flipping on different web pages on different things.
Yeah, that's true. I could see that. See the problem with that.
I think it's kind of a bad idea.
Well, I mean, it's a lot to process coming from, the human brain. You can need, like, some really high-tech piece of equipment to do that. Wouldn't come
We
cheap.
have another caller on the phone, and caller?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Nick.
Oh, hi.
We're talking about devices that I guess Princeton University is developing that could read your brain and tell what you want to. It could. I don't know how to explain it. What it is? They're making devices that could read your brain waves and and it transfers onto the computer screen, and you could do things on the computer. Like if you want to go to Blog Talk Radio, you think it in your mind, and it'll bring you to Blog Talk Radio on the computer screen. Like that's what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what do you think, Brent? Would you buy one of these devices, or would you just keep a regular keyboard and all that?
Me personally, I would stick to the regular keyboard because, like, for me, that would be overload for me. Just trying to, all this stuff just getting thrown onto. Like, if you were trying to write a paper, for instance, it would be like there'd be so much going on, like that you'd have to erase. I mean, they could make programs that could do that, but it would just be hard to think because you're thinking at the same time.
It would be really interesting to see how this works in schools. Yeah,
like a little experiment.
That would be funny. Think about it. Can you imagine if you brought this to like a high school or an elementary school? How much porn and nonsense would be coming up in the computer?
Let's bowl.
Oh yeah.
What's that, Nick?
Oh, never mind.
Did you bring up some
I was
weird
just picturing something in my head. Yeah.
Like I don't know, like small people and stuff.
Yeah, small people and smokers.
Yeah. Here's a good one. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amor. Or could it be astronauts eating Domino's pizza in space? The public relations department at Domino's Pizza confirmed with the Huffington Post that the Pizza Corporation's planning proposed far-fetched plan to build pizza restaurant on the moon. It turns out being anything more than a publicity stunt, or if it does, the lunar restaurant would carry a lofty price tag. It says the restaurant would be estimated to be $21 billion. And they think that you could bring customers on 15 different rocket ships to the moon to order those pizzas and to eat their pizzas in space. And it
That's
says,
pretty cool.
Domino's Pizza actually already delivered pizza to space in 2001, it says, and they're the first ones to ever do that.
So we could get our Brooklyn-style pizza in space.
But the only thing is, what kind of customers could afford to do that?
We could probably find a way. We could go work for Dennis, your uncle, Jer. So, what you boys doing now? Oh, you're going to work to go get a pizza in space now. Okay. I heard a guy that laughed like that the other day at the bus stop.
Well, you said that you had a news article that you were talking about a little bit before the show, Brent. Would you like to talk about that?
Oh, yeah. I found one not too long ago. It's about a Russian lake monster. From the article, let's see, it says, a Russian fisherman around the remote Siberian Lake Chany are demanding an investigation into a mysterious lake monster they claim is responsible for 19 drowning deaths and disappearances over the course of the past year. Lake Chany is a large, shallow lake located between the cities of Novosibirsk and Omsk, northwest of the Altai Mountains. And then it says, witnesses who have seen the creature have described it as a snake-like and said it has a long neck similar to Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, dubbed Nesky. Descriptions by several witnesses also mention large fins and a huge elongated tail. So pretty much it's just a big Nessie just in Russia.
So, would you say that it was, what do you call it? Would you say that, is it a popular case? Like, would you say it was like Loch Ness or something like that, or is it like a lesser-known monster until recently?
Well, it came around the same time. I mean, I don't have a specific year on here, but they do have a picture on it, and it actually kind of does look like, it kind of looks like a whale-like creature. Actually looks pretty cool. But, I mean, as far as being as old as Nessie or anything like that, I'm not sure if it's the same kind of, like, dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's something interesting, something to definitely look into.
Anna, what do you think about that, Nick?
I don't know. I think, again, we don't really have a lot of information to go off of, but it could definitely be the same species as Nessie, a different species. It could be an alien race planted here by the reptoids billions of years. Who knows?
Well,
throw out a crazy scenario out there. Yeah.
I know that we were planning on looking for a lake monster recently in Utah, but we ended up not doing it yet. But we have all kinds of equipment ready, and we're going to go out. And it's articles like this that make me want to start looking for it.
Yeah, exactly.
The place that we want to go to is, it's a little lesser known.
Yeah.
Here's another good one that I found. U.S. military drones, new ones, are so small they could even look like insects. I'm looking at one right now. It looks like about the size of a moth, and it says that they're the most sophisticated drones on the planet. The U.S. Air Force is finding a miniature spy craft with the goal of making them so small that they resemble birds and insects. The micro-air vehicles, or MAVs, are being developed at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. The base's research laboratory mission is to develop these MAVs that they can find, track, and target adversaries while operating in complex urban environments. It says, testing takes place in controlled indoor environment during which data is gathered to analyze, to create these insects. And I'm looking at pictures of them right now. They're pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I heard a couple of years ago about those drones that even the police might try to get to use them here in the United States against people.
Well, the only thing is they look pretty cool, and they look sort of like insects. But I mean, if I were to see one flying around, like the really small one, I could tell the difference between that and a bug, though, because of the way they look.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think,
that would be very scary if you think about it.
I know they have those little.
Like government could just go into your house and you won't even know it. It'll just be a cockroach. Be like, hey, let's go, another cockroach. Let's kill it. There's another $100 million to make that thing.
Yeah.
Did you have
the
any
government could just spy on
or
you.
any articles, Brent? Or Nick?
What's that?
Do I have any articles? No, not that I can think of right now. No, I'll just let you guys continue to go on with what you've got. If I remember something, I'll gotta have that sound. I'll let you guys continue on with your discussion with whatever you planned, and if I remember something, I'll bring it up. And when we get some time.
Well, we have somebody right now on my personal Facebook that's asking us, what impact do you think finding Bigfoot for reals will have on everybody? Is the question. Did you want to talk a little bit about that? Or Brent or Nick or whoever?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that one. Well, I mean,
actually, go ahead, Brent.
Oh, okay. Well, from my opinion, I would say that it would. I mean, not only would it solidify that there is something out there besides, like aliens, and like it'll make everything else seem more down to earth, once we actually discover oh yeah, there's been hundreds of thousands of sightings all over the years, seeing a large ape-like creature, or like the Yeti, or the orangutan or the Yaren, or anything like that. But I mean, it would just solidify that there is something out there that we have not discovered, and then it would just totally I'm pretty sure the what's that called? The Paranormal Society would actually. The Paranormal Society would just would just explode with hundreds of thousands of people trying to look for other things.
Well, do you think that it would sort of kill the mystery, and it would kill the researchers from going out and looking for this creature?
Yeah, I think it would.
Well, honestly, once they find it, they're gonna, want to actually study it, so they're gonna put some kind of fund into that. So someone's gonna have to go do that, to go research them. But yeah, I mean, for other people. Oh, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. It's fine.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, you were saying someone has to go out and look for him for signs.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, someone's gonna have to do it, but then if people like us in the Paranormal Society, we would, it would kind of shut us down, because you're gonna be like, oh, don't go do this anymore. You can't do that. So it might affect that a lot.
Yeah, our credibility would be really damaged by legitimate scientists, the ones who are biologists and zoologists and ecologists and that bunch. They would just tell us, oh, you guys don't have 10 years of school, and you don't have this formal certification, and you don't have this or have that, so we're taking over, and, screw you guys and go home.
Exactly. I think so.
Unless we had Kevin go with us.
What do you think about it, Jer?
Well, I kind of think it would kill the mystery of what it is, in a sense, but I think at the same time it would put rest all these people being called liars and idiots and things. Like, for instance, as soon as you or me or Nick or anybody mentions, oh, well, Jeremy and Brent seen a Bigfoot over in California a couple years back, it's the first thing that comes out of their mouth, well, you're a liar, you're an idiot. I think as soon as Bigfoot becomes documented as a creature, they'll put to rest some of the, I don't know what you'd call it, some of the skeptics. But at the same time, once Bigfoot is discovered in North America, the Yeti and things and the Yowie in Australia, they're still not going to know what those are, so people are still going to want to come out and look for those. Unless for some reason they just assume that they're the same creature, which I personally think that they're subspecies myself, but
yeah,
that's up for debate. I don't know, while we're while we're on the topic, I was going to say, Nick, what do you think of the different types of Bigfoot? Do you think they're the same animal, a subspecies, different species? What do you think?
I think they're all different subspecies of each other. I don't think that they're the same species because in the history of our planet, when life has evolved differently in different environments. And all these Bigfoot sightings, or Yeti sightings, or the orang pendek, etc., are found in different environments which need different adaptations to survive in. For instance, a Bigfoot species living in South America is not going to need long and thick fur like the Yeti needs to survive. Just to say one example. So I think that they all evolved as different subspecies as one another, based on the environment they lived in.
Well, I was thinking, I know different types of witnesses have told us there's different colors of eye shines with the Bigfoot. Like some are yellow, some are reported red and green. And do you think that they might even be different? I don't know how you would say it. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? That would be the best way I could say it. The best way to bring it up.
Well, you got to think about it. Sometimes it's not like some people think it's from a different perspective that instead of being an ape-like creature that stands up like a man, or it could just be a Neanderthal. Like some people think in the Yeren. They think the Yeren is a Neanderthal-like creature. He's more man than ape, and uses tools. So, I mean, yep.
Well,
yeah, no, that's definitely a good point.
Oh, you go ahead, Nick. I was going to talk about something different. I found something related to what you were talking about.
I was going to say, yeah, that's a good point Brent just made, that they could be different species altogether, like different species of hominids or human-like creatures in the history of the evolutionary chain. You know, like one species evolved to a certain point and stopped, and then another species evolved to even more human-like, and then they stopped, and so on and so on. So that's a very good thing that Brent just stated.
Well, you guys know that the orang pendek is reported on the same. For those of you that don't know, I should start over. The orang pendek, it's almost like a miniature Bigfoot that's spotted on the island of Flores. And there's a specimen that was discovered of an ancient man that just happened to be small, called in Sumatra, called Homo florensis. And I found an article that says, do you think that the two are related? One just happened to live 18,000 years ago, was when the, my brother knows a little bit more how to say his name, Homo florensis. I don't know, what do you think about this here? Basically my question is, do you think that the miniature skeleton that they found of Homo florensis, do you think that could be the orang pendek since it's found and not too far away from there?
Oh, of course. If the orang pendek and this little man, this hobbit creature that they found in Sumatra look alike and live in similar environments, chances are greater than not that they're either the same species or very, very closely related.
Yeah. Well, we have a caller on the line from a 936 area code. And caller?
Yes, hello.
Oh, hi.
I was wondering if any of you were familiar with Dr. Melba Ketchum's work that's being peer-reviewed at this time.
We spoke with Dr. Melba Ketchum about a year ago, but I was going to say, I'm not familiar with what they're doing at the moment, but they called in for about 15 minutes and talked to us a little bit ago. Is there any way you could tell us a little bit about that? And then we could talk a little bit about that?
Well, it's curious to me as to why the people that are on this call, on this radio show, are calling them some kind of ape or possibly an animal or of some kind or something like that, when Dr. Ketchum stated right here on Blog Talk Radio in October of last year, or was it November? I can't remember, but you just put her name here in Blog Talk Radio and you'll find the show, where she stated her results show that they're between 0.4 and 0.5% different from humans. Now that's 0.5% or less. And that's been independently verified or validated in other places in the world from samples that they have of the Yowie, the Yeti, the Almasti, the Cicimite in South America. And the results are the same.
Would you like to talk a little bit about this, Nick?
The gentleman did make he showed some scientific findings of a point I was talking about earlier of how different species of Bigfoot, I'm using the term Bigfoot to mean all these hominids that we are talking about. Some are closer to human beings than others, depending on, how far they evolved. And
I think it would just to throw an insert in there, and I'll get out of your way. I think you could say that about more than half the people you see at the mall when you go there.
Definitely. Yes, sir. You made a very good point. Yeah, the most, or some, at least some of the Sasquatch species are very close to us in terms of genetic makeup and whatever that may entail.
Okay, but I go back to the when you start looking at 0.5% or less genetically different from us, the most obvious differences are their sheer size and strength, the hair all over their body, and their absolute speed and the things they can do, and that's probably the main differences between us and them. The other difference that I know from my own experiences with them is that humans adapt their environment to suit them, whereas they adapt to their environment. That's the main difference between us and humans, but between them and humans.
It's definitely true. Never saw it like that.
Well,
yeah, that's a.
I was going to say, I know that we had another caller on our show probably about during one of our later episodes, and they were saying something about they were part of a research group that actually said something similar to what you were saying, the 1% or 1.5%, but they were saying that they were doing their studies over in China somewhere.
Let me correct you. I said 0.5% or less. No, 1.5%, 0.5% or less. And that's not just me saying that. You can put in Dr. Ketchum or just put in the name Ketchum, Ketchum, here in Blog Talk Radio, and you'll find the episode where she was interviewed and stated that. She was on there with Dave Pilates, and Adrian Erickson called in as well.
Well,
so that's straight from the horse's mouth. I'm just repeating what she said, and it's documented because it's recorded right here on Blog Talk Radio and still in archives.
Oh, alrighty. Well, we are going to go on a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we are going to have a couple more callers and a couple more articles, and Thank you for listening to BFP Radio.
Between what we see and what we think we know and believe, there are worlds. There are things that we cannot understand. Bigfoots Pad Paranormal Investigations team is in charge of the field. Bigfoots Pad Paranormal Investigations team.
From a quick commercial break there. We were talking about different types of Bigfoot and Bigfoot-related topics, and then a caller was telling us about Dr. Meldon Ketchum's research work and how they said that some of their Bigfoot findings were that the Bigfoot was only 0.5% different from humans. And while we're on the topic, I was going to mention to my co-host here, what do you guys think of taking our Sumatra trip here pretty soon?
I think it's going to be exciting.
What do you think about it, Nick?
Yeah, that'll definitely quite an adventure, a trip to Sumatra.
Well, because Tim, one of our other team members, he's not on the lines right this second, but he'll probably be on here pretty soon. But he actually was looking at hiring us a guide and going up to a hollowed-out volcano that now has a lake in the center of it. And it's filled up with water in the center, and it's in the middle of a forest. And Tim was trying to see if we could get our team to go up there with this guide, and then see if we could go set up some cameras and stay up there for a while. What do you think, Steph? Is Steph still on the line?
Yeah, I'm still on the line.
I mean Stephanie. Is she still on the line, or is she just...
Yeah, I am.
What do you think of looking for creatures over in that area of the world?
Are you talking to me, Jer?
Oh, I was talking to Stephanie, but I don't know if she was there. She heard me.
Yeah, I'm here. Well, you know my opinion on it, so...
Well, yeah, Steph, is there anything that you would like to talk about, or any weird questions or anything like that you would like to mention?
Not really. I really don't know what to talk about.
Well, something else I was going to talk about. The aliens have landed. Amazing footage shows little green men walking about after the touchdown. Well, why does it always happen in Siberia is the name of the article. To make a long story short, I'll read the article, but it's about a UFO that touched down in Siberia. For an alien looking to explore Earth, the frozen wastes of Siberia may not be the most attractive of landing locations, but if it's film footage to be believed, that's exactly where this little green man chose to land their UFO. In the clip, filmed in the remote Irkutsk region of Siberia, appears to show strange glowing craft with 5 aliens walking about the snow. It shows what seems to be an alien about 4 feet tall, standing 15 feet away from its glowing craft, 4 other similar figures nearby. The short clip was taken 2 days after mysterious lights illuminated the Siberian night skies above Bayanday. also in Irkutsk. I think that's how I would say it. The two videos from two independent witnesses show that a UFO event of Roswell-sized proportions has taken place in Russia. 2 days after these clips were taken from the town of Bayade, reported of crash of a huge pink and blue glowing object. An enormous explosion was heard over the area. He claimed police and rescue departments were flooded with phone calls from frightened residents. The military soon confirmed that it had not been doing any exercises in the area and cannot be responsible for these reports. But he claims that authorities organized a cover-up of the UFO landing. Officials declared the event classified and told journalists that the area of impact would not be revealed, he said. So what do you guys think of that one?
It was a weather balloon with swamp gas that exploded. The excuse they give all the time.
I don't know, what do you think, Brent? This footage of the UFO landing, and it just so happens that it was filmed by two different people in two different areas, and the only thing is, the same exact area, it says, is where those college kids reported that they found an alien body that turned out to be a hoax. That's also what's coming next in the article.
Okay, so it's in the same area. I mean, what year did it happen in?
This happened last month.
Oh, last month, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I don't know. It could be real if it's by two different people, but then again, if you have a good CGI software, you could make a lot of things happen.
I don't know. What do you think, Seth? Do you think it's a UFOs, or do you think it's a hoax? I don't know. What's your personal opinion?
I don't know. I think it kind of sounds like a hoax.
You think it might be a hoax?
I think it was.
I don't know. Here's another question that I've asked to Brent and Nick on many occasions. What would you do if we were to come across a UFO crash while traveling to one of our locations?
Oh, I don't know. That'd be pretty sketchy. I mean, like if we were to take something, or take pictures or anything, the military are going to be there pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
Do you think that would you take pictures, or would you drive up there, or just keep going, or what do you think?
I would go up there. I would want to get some really good footage of that, just to see, for myself what this is,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
From what I've noticed, from a UFO crash that we heard that came from Needles, California, one of the witness reports that we were sent in said that the helicopters came in and grabbed the craft and left within 12 minutes of it happening.
Really? And
yeah,
and this is actually documented, like in police reports and stuff like that?
I know it was by several of the eyewitnesses that seen the UFO crash. They all said that because I guess there was a guy at a radio station, and he started reporting about it right after it happened, and he said that he was live on the air while he was talking about it, and I guess they said 12 minutes after he started talking about it, the helicopters came and grabbed him.
Oh, okay.
So.
Wow. Pretty fast.
Well, I don't know, Nick. Do you think that I think what my question is. So do you think that swamp gas or weather balloons would make all these helicopters and things come out?
I don't think so. They're not going to do it in that speed and that efficiency. They're not going to secure weather balloons that fast. It's preposterous to say something like that.
Well, another great article, Sentient Ghost Life. I've never read this article, but I was told to read it by Tim, one of our other team members. In May 2006, it was announced that after decades of secretly investigating UFOs, the British Ministry of Defense had finally come up to the conclusion that aliens were not visiting our planet. The MOD's assertions were revealed within the pages of a formally classified document from 1996 that was completed in February 2000. The 465-page document, called the Condingen Report, talks about how British air defense experts had decided that UFO sightings were the result of natural but relatively rare and not completely understood phenomena such as plasma. It's kind of a lengthy article, but without reading further, do you think that UFOs are just plasmas or strange earthly phenomenon, or do you think that they're actually craft?
Oh, I think I've heard of that before. Isn't that where it's like some gases like form in the air, like right above like a, what do you call those? Like a crevice or so. But like it forms like a really sphere, like kind of like a sphere, and they say that it moves around a lot, and it's like really chrome. It's like chrome shaped or chrome colored, I should say. But those, I mean, I've honestly never seen one of those. I mean, that seems kind of odd. I mean, but it could be some kind of like UFO or something. Or it could be that. I don't know. I'd have to go see one of those for myself. Actually, for me, that's a little weird.
Well, I think the British, what was it, British Air Defense or whatever, they are making a fundamental logical error. They're saying that every single instance of a UFO sighting is due to natural phenomena. Unless you're God, how can you know that? You know, that's some. I would say some are definitely due to natural phenomena. I wouldn't rule that out. But to say that all are products of natural phenomena gives the government some type of super intelligence that's way beyond anything we can understand. And I'd be more scared of that than UFOs.
Well, sorry to relate back to our last article, but someone in our chat room just said, do you think if it came within 12 minutes that they were tracking the UFO, or that it was planned that it would land there?
It could have been.
Oh,
could have been planned.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brian. But anyways, we're talking about the sorry, I lost my train of thought there. The swamp gas and all that. Or not swamp gas, sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. Here's an article that's kind of strange and kind of strangely humorous. How long can you live after your head is chopped off is the name of the article. Imagine yourself with your head in the business end of the guillotine. I know it's not the most pleasant of thoughts, but the guillotine was once considered a humane way to kill someone. Just a quick slice and you're flat out dead. But researchers are finding that neurons, the cells that make up the brain, are active even after their blood supply is suddenly cut off. And that may show activity for longer than a minute. So imagine yourself in the guillotine again. Once the blade comes swishing down, your head rolls away, you're still aware? Could you see the world around you? Might you actually experiment the horrific reality that your head is removed from your body for a minute or more? In an arguably not so humane study, Dutch scientists measured the brain activity in mice after slicing off the mice's head. What they saw was a quick flash of brain activity immediately following decapitation. Then, about 50 seconds later, another ripple of activity, Science News reports. But another Dutch scientist, the University of Twente, I guess what you call that, is quite skeptical. He found Science News is completely speculative, and the spike of brain activity is a wave of death, he says. So, this is a strange article. I just thought this would bring up some weird conversation here.
Well, the other day I was on YouTube, and it's kind of funny that we're talking about this. I was on YouTube, and I was watching just weird videos, and I found this video of, like, some place in Asia or Africa where they chopped off a crocodile's head, and the people were poking the thing's head with, like, sticks and knives and stuff, and the eyes were still blinking, and it was still, like, twitching and stuff. It was some crazy thing. And, I think it's definitely possible for humans to have that. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever picked up a salamander before, or even a lizard. If you pick up a lizard and the tail comes off, the tail starts squirming around because the nerves are still active. So, a human's brain could exhibit the same type of things as a lizard's tail that comes off.
Well, do you think that, can you imagine that, though, if you really got your head cut off in, say, the medieval age, and your head is on the ground, and for a minute straight you can see, like, all the people around, or at least be aware of what's going on? That'd be kind of strange.
Yeah.
Or, for instance, William Wallace, they cut his head off, and people grab the head apparently after it's cut off. Does that mean if they grabbed your head, they could hold up your head and you'd be able to tell what's going on around you?
I don't know. Maybe.
This has to go down with one of the weirdest articles we've ever discussed.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
I'd still say the weirdest article was the guy who had the USB as his finger, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That was a weird one. But, Steph, you said you had an article or something strange that you were going to talk about? You posted in the
it was kind of funny because Nick brought up, like the chopping off the head of a crocodile. I just found something yesterday night in Manila, in the Philippines. 100 of the people around the village had found a 21-foot crocodile, which weighed approximately 2,370 pounds. Now, that's, like, I have the picture and I put the link on the chat, and they can't even fit the whole crocodile in the picture. I mean, it's huge. I've never seen a crocodile that big before. I didn't know crocodiles could get to be, I've heard of crocodiles being 15 feet, but it's 21 feet, and it's pretty big.
Is it a known type of crocodile, or is it a new species or something? Or?
It just said that it's it's just a regular crocodile. It doesn't say, it just says a saltwater crocodile. It's the only other description they said about it, and they said it's a male crocodile. But they said that it's one of the largest crocodiles to be captured alive in the past years. And when you see the crocodile, it's alive on the thing. I don't think they killed it or they haven't killed it yet unless they did. But they're saying that this crocodile could be the cause of a couple deaths for villagers and fishermen who went missing in the past couple months.
Oh yeah, I could see that. I could see that happening.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I mean, it's huge.
Something that big doesn't have much to fear.
Yeah, well, it took about
in that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Yeah, what were you saying?
Well, they said it took about 100 people to pull it from the water, out. So, I mean, they said that they counted 100, but there was more people there. So, I mean, over 100 people had to pull it. So, that's a lot. And, I mean, these people there, I mean, these aren't bodybuilders. I mean, these are, you look at the picture, these are small men. I mean, some of them are, you know, very thin. And there's some children in the picture, too, so whatever they did. But, I mean, this crocodile, it's humongous.
Can you imagine waking up, Nick, or playing with Sarah, and your dad goes, "Hey, Nick, come down to the stream. We got to pull out 100 people lined up to pull out a crocodile."
Oh,
and that's
God.
basically what happened. They did that in the middle of the night.
Or Roger, he'd be sunburned and red and pulling a crocodile out of the water.
Come on, guys, we're going to get it. Oh, man. Oh, that's crazy. That's a big cock.
While we're on the topic of strange animals, I was brought to the attention that they actually found feet long, supposedly. I guess Becky was talking about this before on Facebook. Any of you heard about this?
Oh, what was it?
Some huge snake that they just recently found. I don't know if it's an anaconda, but I think it might be an anaconda.
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah.
Well, did you have any other articles, Brent?
Not at the moment. But I mean, if you want to share like some newer, I have some recent stuff that happened. I told you about a couple days ago when I saw those UFOs.
Oh, you could talk about that. I just was thinking if Tim gets on the line sometime before the show ends, we'll talk about our trip. But if not, we can save it for next time or something.
All right. I mean, I can bring it up since I just brought it up.
So yeah, because we have 38 minutes in the show, so we still have a while.
All right, yeah, that's fine. I mean, let's see. They both happened on the same day, and I was at work at Edwards Air Force Base, and I was on my smoke break around say 6:30. Well, no, it was actually late. It was around 8:30 because I was staying late that night. And I come home. Well, I'm on my smoke break, just chilling. You know, tried to call Jeremy, didn't answer because he was at work. So I was just smoking. You know, I look up in the sky and I see a really bright light, and it's like where I work is kind of close to the airstrip. So I see a light in the air, and like I tell from, because I work on an Air Force base, and I see a lot of planes and jets and everything, B-2 bombers, blah, blah, blah. And this thing didn't have any tracking lights on it, so I thought that was kind of strange, and it was flying really slow for being how low it was. Because at first I thought it was really far away, and it was just a bright light from like some F-16 or something, or a KC-130. And it had its headlights on, so I didn't think of anything of it. But then it started moving to the right slowly. But if a plane would be turning, and the lights would go away. So the light was just in the same spot, and it was slowly moving to the right. And then all of a sudden it just dissolved after I don't know, probably like 2 miles. And then it just disappeared. It just dissolved. And then on my way home, when I was pulling into my house, I saw something green in the sky. At first I thought it was fireworks, but it was really far away, and it lit up the ground from where I was seeing, because right behind my house is just desert. And I just see it just going, and it's just, just making a little trail and everything, and it was lighting up the ground, but I couldn't see it if it crashed or anything, because it landed north of my house, which is kind of where Rosamond and Edwards Air Force Base is and whatnot. And that was pretty interesting. Too bad I didn't have any. Too bad I can't bring electronics into my work, or else I would have brought my camcorder. But yeah.
Are you sure that it just wasn't plasma, Brent, or swamp gas?
Yeah. I don't know if weather balloons can fly that fast or crash down to the earth that fast.
I don't know. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I definitely think again, it could be a lot of things. It could be experimental aircraft, alien spacecraft, natural phenomena. I mean, there's a lot of different things, but there has been historically a lot of UFO sightings around military bases, if I'm correct. Is that right, Jer?
I think so.
There's been a lot of, around military areas, there's been a lot of UFO sightings. And if you're an alien, would you not want to scout some of the military locations on this planet you're visiting? That's the first thought that comes to my mind, at least. So, these things that Brent saw could definitely be aliens.
I know I asked you this recently, Brent, but if you were inside your work building and you're in front of the computer and you've seen that, I mean, if that was going on outside, would you be able to see it at your work?
Well, we do have radar in my room, but from everything that goes on in there, we can't really see because there's two different radars at our base. There's just normal like tracking radar, and then there's like FAA radar where you can see anything moving in the air. But we don't have that. That's in a different building, probably a couple blocks down, but whatever. And anyways, if there was something in the air, we wouldn't be able to see it because it wouldn't have anything. We have our antennas tracking it, so not like they can see that. We'll be able to see anything without a tracking number on it because it won't pop up on ours. So honestly, we would not be able to see that if it did happen. It wouldn't even pop up as a blip on there.
Well, I was thinking, didn't you say that in the past other workers have said something that they've seen strange lights on radar? I don't know if it's your job, but different rooms or people have heard rumors about that kind of stuff?
I knew this one guy. He did say there were some stuff going on there. I don't know if it's true or not. He just told me, it was probably the first couple months I started there. He was taking me out on a range tour, and he told me that he said that there's some guy told him blah 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 that in the higher ups or something said that there's black ops stuff that go on there, and I was like, "Are you joking?" And he's like, "Oh no," and he told me all these stories about UFOs and stuff that have been going on there. That nobody really knows. They see stuff in the sky and they don't really know what it is and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's possible that there's stuff going on over there, but I'm not sure. I don't want to risk my job. You don't want into that.
But Brent's gonna get a knock at the door, and then there's going to be a guy with a pair of handcuffs saying, "You better come with me, son." And then there's going to be two MPs standing in the hallway with M5s.
An army of MPs?
Oh, yeah.
You better come with me, son.
Like that?
Exactly.
Well, I found a weird article. It's something that we haven't really mentioned on our show before. There's a Swedish explorer who says recently in July 29th, he said, a Swedish explorer claims he found a UFO on the ocean floor. And it's kind of a lengthy article, but it's in the Gulf of Bothania, and the scientist's name is Lindbergh. He said he saw evidence of stars or marks disturbing the environment nearby, suggesting this is around the object, suggesting that the object somehow moved across the ocean floor when his team found it. And the object, it's on the 300-foot depth of the ocean floor between Finland and Sweden. It's a large circle, about 60 feet in diameter. You see a lot of weird stuff in this job, but during my 18 years as a professional, I've never seen anything like this. The shape is completely round, he says. And adding to the mystery, like I said earlier, he's seen that there is disturbing marks in the environment, like it crashed. And it says it creates a round sonar signature when he drives over it. And it's not the first time that a sunken object has been presented as a solution to a mystery. Yeah, and then they go on to talk about the Bimini Road and all that, all those sorts of things. I don't know. What do you guys think? Steph, you want to go first?
I think it's kind of weird. I don't know.
No, I mean, do you think that it's possible that a UFO could be on the bottom of the ocean like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, like when I don't know. I think it's possible. I mean, when did they say that they found it, or when it was supposed to happen again?
Well, they found it. I guess it's been abandoned, is what they were saying. Like it's been abandoned or something. But they found it on July 29th.
Well, I think that because you know how. Well, okay. Let me see if I can try and explain this without confusing myself. How the Earth used to be when it was underwater. I'm thinking that maybe it happened when everything was still kind of underwater and it just landed. Like when you're driving to like Arizona and you can tell that the rocks or mountains, they look like how they were underwater. I don't know. I'm confusing myself, so I really don't know how to explain it very well. Well, Jeremy, you know what I'm trying to talk about, right? Can you clarify it?
You mean that they could have crashed here a long time ago?
Yeah, and they are just now finding it?
Yeah, well, you just said it yourself.
Yeah, but, I mean, I think I didn't explain it very well.
Well, I don't know. I think I've told Brent this before, but in a club that we belong to, a magazine club, they mentioned that in the Grand Canyon that they found a similar object, but it was under the Grand Canyon in the water. And I guess they said that eventually the government came and picked it up after it was being reported.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
What do you think there, Nick? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember seeing that at the magazine. Yeah, it's not surprising that they came and picked it up as soon as someone spotted it.
And we have a guest that's suggesting we talk about UFOs on a future show. I think that's a good idea.
Sounds good to me.
We're going to go on a quick commercial break. We have 27 minutes left in the show. And when we get back, we're going to take some more callers, listen to a couple more stories, and you're listening to BFP Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, it seems we have a problem. I would like to introduce
Bigfoots Pad Paranormal Investigations Team.
And we are back. We're waiting for a caller to call in, but while we're waiting for the caller to call in, I was going to say, sorry about that, I lost my train of thought, started typing out a message there, but you have any thoughts or suggestions on a UFO show here pretty soon here, Nick?
I've actually wanted to do that topic for a little while. I remember I watched a UFO Hunters episode on the History Channel that talked about USOs near Catalina Island off the coast of California that really sparked my interest in it. So, yeah, I want to do a show about USOs.
Well, it's always interested me. I know Tim's really knowledgeable on that topic. He'd probably be able to tell some pretty cool stories. We had Stanton Friedman on our show on our last season, I guess you would call it a season, and he had some pretty interesting stories on UFOs that he was telling us. I don't know, do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How could you not?
Our caller just called in, and you're on the line, 410?
Hi. Hi, guys. This is Monarcha calling in. UFO contactee here. Seriously. You might know I'm a professional artist. I have contribute a lot of my artwork to the History Channel on Ancient Aliens and various other UFO specials. And, I just pretty much I'm coming to an ending of my research after 16 years because I'm really starting to come to it's not even a really conclusion. It's like a waiting game now. I'm just waiting to take this next step. I'm a lifetime contactee, and it started when I was like 5. I always thought it was 7 years old, but my 2 sisters were witnesses to it, and they said I was younger, and I just pretty much have discovered that just recently, like I was a lot younger. I was about 5 when I had my first contact experience. And I don't know, what do you guys want to hear about? I mean, there's a lot to tell you.
Is there any way you could talk a little bit about what you've seen or things that you heard as far as the contactee goes?
It's evolved. I've always thought that all my contacts were dreams. So I never paid, they put me in a state of kind of like, I would have anxiety before I would go to bed, so my parents would allow me to stay up, and I would always fall asleep on the couch or something. But even in being a teenager, I'm old lady. I'm 59 years old, so it's like I've had a lot of experience. But so I've just pretty much winged it throughout my lifetime. And I was even back then, when I got into the working world, I was always, just normal, but yeah, I, just still had those dreams. Finally, in 1995, these dreams started manifesting, and where they were, I would go outside and they'd be parked outside of my house and above my head and stuff like that. And then I said, I had to go to all my friends and family and tell everybody that, okay, these are no longer dreams. This is really a happening thing with me. And so I've had witnesses with me and seeing this stuff happen, and pretty much the contacts that I had, They were approximately, I believe, 16 different types of entities I made contact with, and the only purpose we didn't carry on any conversation. The only purpose that they wanted me to do is to do portraits of them, and so I drew them, and that was the only thing, just to tell people we are here and we're living amongst you. But they were humanoid looking, most of them. But there was a weird little quirks or characteristics that stood out that I knew that they weren't regular humans. But pretty much I wasn't always in a state of panic because I couldn't figure out what is going on here. Because they ended up real experiences. And they showed me a lot, and what the part. This is just recently. What has been exposed or told to me is, I've always heard this Hollow Earth theory, but I never paid attention to it until just recently, because I heard someone mention it on a radio show or something. I didn't really give it a thought, but I went to sleep that night, and I had a vision of a tall gray alien was in a cave, shoving a rock in front of this cave hole, and then I heard this voice saying, "This is how we escaped the Great Flood." And, I mean, I never gave that whole theory a thought ever. And then all of a sudden I go, uh-oh. Then I started, the thoughts started flooding my mind. Yeah, they're in the earth. And this is what my message is so far. The powers that be that we're scratching our heads trying to figure out what's going on this planet, they're in the earth. They've always been in the earth, and they have thousands of years of scientific technologies that we can't even fathom in our mind. Now, yes, well, how are you so sure that this is really going on? Well, one thing that happened to me and my husband, we were great friends with a guy that was stationed in the Antarctic for 8 years. We used to go to his house, sit on his front porch with his wife and kids and talk and chat in the evening, and we were very good close. But he brought up the subject where he was stationed, and I said to him, what is in the Antarctic? And I knew, how when you say something wrong, you get that really weird feeling. Well, I knew I said something wrong, Mm-hmm. So as time went on, I kept on kidding him around about it, and I would say, "Come on, tell me. You can tell me. Who am I? No one's going to say anything, And he started loosening up, and shortly after that, I think it was just 2 weeks after he started telling me a few things, he got real sick, and 3 months later, he was dead. And I never forgot that. And I thought, how odd. As soon as he started opening up to me, it ended. And I'm thinking, what? But I never thought of UFOs back then or anything. I wasn't thinking that. And although I still was having encounters, but I thought at that point they were just dreams in my mind.
Yeah.
So just recently I contacted a photographer in the Antarctic. And he works on the satellite systems, and I've been doing all this research, and there's every kind of multi-million-dollar bases down there, and they're saying that, from Russia, there's Australia, there's the United States, but all these people are saying that they're studying penguins. It's absolutely insanity. So there's something going on, very secretive. And I was shown what is going on, and they're getting set up for this fake UFO invasion that's going to be happening very soon, and I just think it's going to happen within a matter of months. I mean, that's how soon. I think within 1 year it's going to happen. And that's my message. I'm just getting out, and I said, just don't be. The problem is they have weaponry that's so sophisticated, they're going to use it. Because what will happen is everyone will get together and saying, how are we going to fight this outside source here off the planet? So it's part of the New World Order. That's my message now. The thing is, I won't be scared when it happens, but the thing is, people are going to get hurt. The people are going to die. This is going to be something very serious. But if I run and hide, it's only because I don't want to get hurt. That's all. But I won't be scared of that. Thinking, it's it's an aliens invasion. I'm not going to be scared because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I wanted to tell you guys. That's what the message.
Something interesting I thought I'd bring up to you. We had a guest on our show. On 2 different occasions, he was talking about the Hollow Earth theory and similar things, but he said that he had a similar dreams about the Antarctic, and I guess he called them reptoids. He didn't really refer to them as he didn't really know what to call them, but he said something that he thought there was going to be some sort of invasion in the future too, which is I thought it was pretty interesting because your stories they're similar, which is. I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's the reptilians, and then I've had 3 encounters with the Greys. Each time I did call out on the name of Jesus Christ, and I did get rid of it. That did work for me, but they, some researchers says, well, I bet you if you called out the name of the Easter Bunny, that they probably would have took off. I'm not for sure, but I said, well, if it works, I'm going to stick with it. That's all. And it's just, I was clearly shown that those Greys are robotic. I saw a man repairing one of the Greys, and it was on a workbench. I saw that as clear as day, and I was also told. So these were created robotic beings, but this is the kicker. I realized if they are that sophisticated that they can make these little Greys, you don't think that they can make fake people? And that's the kicker. And I always wonder what the heck is going on on this planet. These people that are running the world, the people that are in the spotlights, are absolutely acting insane. And it's all part of their main objective is just to destroy us. They're just trying to destroy the human race, and they're doing it through just moral ways and just destroying the family unit. They're doing it in every way, and they're the ones that created money. Money is just a tool that they use to keep us as slaves. They own it all already. They don't need money. They're just keeping us. We're the ones that are fighting to keep it in our pocket, not them. So there's a lot of things going on, and people aren't stepping back and asking too many questions. They're just going with the flow and barely making it in this world.
That is interesting. Did you have any questions for our caller, Brett?
Not really, but I do agree with you with the whole money thing. That's definitely how I see it. It's just something that just it doesn't need to be there. It's just something that's out of place, from my opinion.
Yeah, I did have some encounters with Jesus Christ, and that automatically puts you don't want to hear it. But what he has told me is nothing what people think he is. And the one thing that is the big deception in the Christian world, is he did not come to die for our sins. That was the one thing. And any Christian that you say that to, they said, you got it from Satan. They get right on you. But he told me he came for one reason and one reason only. It was to teach people spiritual science, how to overcome what is coming upon the earth. That's the only reason he came. He said he was the truth, which that's what he's going to give you, and the light and the way to live here on earth. And what was the one thing he said? If everybody just did this one thing, there would be absolutely no problems. And he just says, treat people how you want to be treated. That's all he said. But, I don't want to get into religious, because I would say 98% of the people who are into UFOs do not want to go. He was totally against religions. And that's, there's tons of things that Jesus told me, and people go, no way, no way. But I'm telling you, they got it all wrong. There's a great deception on our spiritual. We are spiritual beings. We are not flesh and blood. These are just vehicles we're in. So, I mean, I'm not going to get, believe me, I'm not religious or anything like that. This is just an experience that happened to me, and I'm just relaying the message. That's all I'm doing.
That's interesting. I'm thinking, so do you think that the beings that you said that were putting the rock in front of the cave, do you think that they might have been mechanical too, or were those real people, or like, what do you think?
The tall grays, I'm not getting that they're robotic. So evidently there's some sort of intelligence with the tall grays. I think just like the reptilians, I think those were created beings. And it's really weird, because back in the 1960s, if you type in on YouTube Architects of Fear, there's a 1960s Outer Limits TV show, and that pretty much tells you what they're up to. And it shows a bunch of people in power designing monsters to take over the world. And I was really shocked, because I just learned about this through MSNBC. Now they're starting to talk about this fake alien invasion. I not only heard it on there, I heard it on CNN and Fox News, and they're coming out and they're saying it. They're laughing about it, but they're coming up with a lot of scenarios why it could be a good thing. So there's some kind of game that's being played right now, but they're getting us all set up for it. And I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be played out, but they got to get this New World Order getting going here, and basically the whole scenario of getting that New World Order is just to do one thing and to get total power over us, and that's the only reason they want it. They pretty much got us now, but there's certain things we can do. Knowledge is, you can say that, this girl is, or this woman is out of her mind. I'm not going to believe it, but I'll tell you, what I'm saying to you is going into your filing system in your brain, and there's going to come a day where it's going to hit you and saying, I remember that woman saying this, and it's going to be a reference for you. The main reference I want you to have is, I don't want you to have fear of what you think is happening, because it's just a deception.
That's pretty interesting.
It's coming. So I'm telling you.
I don't know, what do you think, Nick? Do you have any questions for our caller?
No, not that I can think of at this point.
Well, what do you guys what do you guys think? I would really like to know, because I go on all these radio shows and stuff, but no one really says anything. I went on a show a few days ago, and these two guys were working for MUFON. And these guys really attacked me, because I'm going to tell you, even MUFON, you guys are affiliated with MUFON?
No. Well, we know who they are, but we don't really work with them, because we got in a big argument with them before, because they were trying to steal some of our work that we did a while back.
Well, I'll tell you, the only reason MUFON is in existence is to gather names and experiences of people. And I actually am good friends with one of the board of directors of MUFON. And it's, you know, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to get him in trouble. But he's made a lot of contacts for me as far as my artwork. Matter of fact, he did contact me, and South Africa has a production company down there that they're going to use my artwork in this movie they're making there. I mean, these paintings that I do, they were told for me to do these paintings aboard a ship. I saw the paintings before they were even created. And then after the encounter, I said, well, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. And what they were is biblical UFO paintings. And I'm sure you've seen them on the History Channel, you know, the parting of the Red Sea and stuff like that. But I'm not saying it was just a cloud that parted the Red Sea. I'm saying it was something scientific. It was something...
Oh, ma'am.
Huh?
I don't mean to cut you off. Oh, sorry, ma'am. I don't mean to cut you off, but we only have about 3 minutes left in the show, so we're going to have to wrap things up.
Okay, well, it was nice talking to you guys. Good luck on your show.
I'd like talking to you as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We have about 3 minutes left in the show. Tonight's show was, I'll give a recap real quick. We were talking about open lines, and we're taking callers and listener stories and reading some news articles. We talked to Monarcha. She was a alien contactee who's seen visions of the future, and we also took a caller that mentioned some statistics about the orang pandic and Bigfoot, and we heard some stories from several other people, and I was going to say, is there anything that you would like to say a little bit before the show ends, Brent or Nick?
That pretty much sums it up, but there is going to be another one, so there's always time to plan that out, see how that's going to go.
Yeah, well, we're going to start having, probably next weekend, we're going to have another show. And if Monarcha, if you want to call in, you're welcome to call into next week's show, and you can finish your story. Sorry to cut you off. But we'll be glad to have you on the show if you want to call in on a future episode. But again, we have like it was saying a second ago, we have that 90 seconds left. I would like to thank my co-hosts. I'd like to thank all of our listeners, all of our guests that called in, and I'd like to say goodnight to everybody and stay tuned because we're going to be scheduling new episodes here probably within the next couple hours for next week. And thanks for listening, everybody. Let my co-hosts say their goodbyes.
All right, bye, guys. See you next time.
All right, have a good night.
Thanks.